John Oliver. I don't know. Do we consider him media? I don't know what the hell he is. Annoying and not fact-based, though he purports to be. I mean, he thinks he's Walter Cronkite. So he goes out on his show and he decides that he will be the final arbiter on whether men should be allowed to play in women's sports, and decides to unleash this typical bullshit that we get from these leftists about how it's a very small number and who are they hurting? You know, who are they really hurting? And tries to get into I couldn't find real studies showing, without spending 1 minute to consider, do you know why that is, John Oliver? It's because leftists are the ones who do these studies, and no leftist magazine, which is all of them, every magazine in the science field is controlled by leftists, will get published if they run a piece saying biological men have an advantage over women. That's the world we've been in for the past 15 years. And by the way, the studies aren't necessary anyway, because we have eyes. It's just absurd. So he decides it's not enough for him to just sort of state, this isn't an issue. This is made up right-wing, catnip. But then he starts to go through these. I mean, true, these are feminists in the good sense of that word. That word it's not a good word, and I'm not a feminist. But if you want to say to me, what's a real feminist? Who's somebody who really stands up for women? It's somebody like Riley Gaines, who is actually fighting for women's rights, or Peyton McNabb, the girl who at 16 in North Carolina was partially paralyzed by a volleyball hit at her by a male. That's an actual true, in the old school way of a feminist, where not the man hatred, not the radical abortion policies, but I just want women to have their rights. Anyway, those are his two favorite targets in this long monologue. Here he is on Riley Gaines.
She tied for 5th in the 200 free with Riley Gaines, who catapulted to Conservative stardom off the back of that race. First, that's a story about how Leah Thomas prevented Riley Gaines from getting 5th place instead of 5th place. Second, those trophies look absolutely identical. So, just so we are clear, Leah Thomas didn't take anything from Riley Gaines. In fact, you could argue she gave a lot to her, as Gaines later decided to forego dental school in order to be an activist and speaker. She now has her own advocacy centre and has personally lobbied multiple state legislatures for bans, all to address the threat posed to women's sports by a woman who swam exactly as fast as she did to the literal 100th of a second.
You know what this is like? This is what is Denise Brown complaining about that Nicole Brown Simpson was murdered? She became world famous and she's a big advocate now for domestic abuse. Fuck off, John Oliver.